Hey, everybody, welcome to the Sky Lounge podcast, episode number 246. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Follow me at the Sky Lounge on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Podcasts, and also check out the Sky Lounge on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Without any further ado, let's get shit started with episode number 246. Sigh. Out of touch Thursday. Sportsball delayed. Rats. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bit of a bummer, kids. And there's a reason why I have to use the phrase out of touch Thursday. And it's based on that meme with the Lucky Star anime and the song by Hall & Oates, Out of Touch. And shout out to Hall & Oates, man. I mean, people do not appreciate Hall & Oates enough. And I know Toronto Maple Leafs fans, in the hockey world, you don't really have a full appreciation for that goal horn of yours. It's one of the best in the league, man. It's one of the best. Not the best, just one of the best. But I had to use that title. It's because sportsball has become kind of out of touch, haven't they? Yeah. And I hear my puppy sighing on my left. I have the other one on the right here. And there's a reason why I'm not recording with all the sports paraphernalia. It's because, hockey's suspended, possibly until Saturday, because of boycotting. Let's just say that. And without getting too much into it, because I want to just fanboy about hockey today and how much the sport has just been a fucking fuel of constant entertainment for like 3 years now. When you keep pushing illiteracy and you just spurn the idea that emotional reactions and overreactions are more valid than patience and common sense, then I'm going to get pissed off. I'm going to shit on you. And so the NHL getting cucked, I'm not surprised at all, but I am disappointed. With that said, I mean, it's really the only league that's been mild with the politics. Mild. Okay, I'm being fair here. But man, I get bummed out.
Oh, you selfish prick, yeah. Yeah, I understand.
Shut up. Don't virtue signal me here, motherfucker. I'm not prone to your, I don't know, emotional guilt reeling. Not in about that. I'm not. You know what I'm in about in terms of emotions? What hockey means to me, man. Because like I said, this sport has been introduced to me just for a couple of years now. 3 years. The thing is, initially, there was I don't know if it was a referendum or a vote. Probably is a referendum, right? I could be wrong on the fucking term, but there was a vote within the city of Las Vegas to either have an MLS team or a hockey team. And because I never watched hockey at that point, like when was it, like 2015 or 2016 when they had this whole thing, I said, fuck that, fuck hockey. Why the fuck would we on hockey? It's a fucking desert. Like, we should get soccer. I mean, there's more of a prominent, soccer fan base here in Las Vegas. And that was my general, misconception and my thoughts based on my own biases. But a few years roll along, hockey comes in, and it was around 2017, like July or August. I figured I'm gonna start learning about hockey. I'm gonna figure out what this whole thing is, learn the roster, and everything just kind of went crazy fucking haywire. Obviously with 1 October, October 1st, and subsequently, like the first home game, October 10th, 2017 in Las Vegas, was phenomenal. And that's where my love for hockey just grew and expanded, and now it's just in this kind of evolved state of, I guess, mush, but it's developing like muscular structures barely. But I gotta tell you, I've been to a couple of hockey stadiums now. Not a lot, not a whole lot, but been to a few. and each and every one obviously very different. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I mean, I go there almost all the time, and it's just a fucking great place. Obviously, newest arena in the league. Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle is going to be the newest one, which I can't wait to go over to Seattle. Maybe like 2 years or so after all the bullshit's going to die down there. But Vegas's venue is probably one of the best just because it's right next to the Las Vegas Strip where all the casinos, all the fun shit is. And obviously with the pandemic, we don't know what's going to happen with the continuation of the regular season or the start of the regular season for next year. But all I can tell you is the Strip is just a wonderful fucking place to watch a hockey game, and I mean any goddamn matchup, man. Honestly, you can have a uh, what's a team that nobody really quote unquote pays attention to, like a New York Islanders, relatively speaking, because they don't play the fun style of hockey. But okay, that's a bad example. Let's just say if you put the Arizona Coyotes and the Columbus Blue Jackets in that arena, you're gonna fill it up. People love hockey here, which people have just found out. Yeah, Vegas, despite being a desert, it is a hockey town. Whether those toxic, salty fanboys want to admit it or not, I mean, if you come to Las Vegas, we love our hockey. We do. And another city that loves their hockey is the city of Los Angeles, which houses the Staples Center over there in downtown LA. Obviously, being a Lakers fan, been there many times, but been to two Kings games, and one of them was the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the LA Kings in the early parts of the 2017-18 season. And holy shit, the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning blew the fucking Kings out of the water. And you know what? As much as I hate the Kings because they're a rival group, their fucking goal horn is actually pretty spectacular. It's fucking loud, blaring, and the goal gets you hyped. But at the same time, I mean, I was watching Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Stamkos, Braden Point, Victor Hedman, all those guys just fucking kill it on the ice. So, I mean, I was having a wonderful fucking time just watching it. And then I actually got to watch last season the LA Kings taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And holy fuck, they they got their ass fucking beat. And here's a funny story about that. And if you're a Kings fan, you probably recall this game where Vegas goes up 1-0 early in the first period. And subsequently, you have the LA Kings go up by like 5 fucking goals. And I recall that game mainly because that first goal that goes in for the Vegas Golden Knights, I am screaming my fucking head off. I am being that obnoxious prick in the stadium, like the away fan prick who is just being kind of yelling but not belligerent, And so I felt kind of like a jackass, but it's like, well, I'm fucking excited. I'm in an away stadium and my team is just up 1-0. But obviously, the harsh reality of hockey that I had to learn, especially during the 2019 postseason for the Stanley Cup playoffs, is that no lead at no time in hockey is ever safe. I mean, especially a 1-0 fucking lead in the first period, like early parts of the first period. What fucking arrogant prick are you to just jump around and get all snooty about it? And yeah, the universe kind of bitch slapped me with basically 5 or 4 unanswered goals. I honestly fucking forget how bad that slaughter was, but holy hell. It was a great experience though, because I went with my mom and she had a wonderful time. She said, "Oh, this is the best fucking game I've ever been to." And I think the very next year, I mean, a couple months back, we went to Dallas together. She had a great time there, which we will talk about here in a bit. But the Kings, even on a bad year, they can be good, and I've seen it many times because I watch a lot of Kings and Knights games, and yeah, I can tell you this much. I mean, I can't really say much about the Sharks as of right now, but being at the Staples Center and having the Lakers there, I mean, I have a bit more softer approach with the rivalry with the LA Kings, but oh man, San Jose is a different story. It's a different fucking story. I'm not going to apologize for that shit. But here's a curious part. So I went to American Airlines Center in Dallas twice, and game that I went to was a couple years back. This was also last season, if I'm not mistaken. But it was the Dallas Stars taking on the Anaheim Ducks, and the Ducks actually went up 3-0 early in this game, and the Dallas Stars went ahead and scored like 4+ unanswered goals, and the place was going wild. I mean, you hear that fucking song in the playoffs right now, dum dum Dallas, dum dum Stars, and that goal horn is the sickest fucking thing to listen to in stadium, and you had players just rip it from the fucking point and just wreck up Anaheim. And that was the game where I thought John Gibson was probably the most underrated and overlooked goalie in the league. And obviously in the Pacific Division, I would say. He is the most overlooked goalie. And I would love to go to Anaheim to just watch the Ducks one day. If they're probably playing like a Columbus Blue Jacket or like Ottawa, I would actually love to go. You got some decent young guys, all over the fucking league, and can really fucking play in relatively irrelevant teams. But Dallas, man, I mean, it is a fucking phenomenal stadium, great environment, and to also watch the Vegas Golden Knights down there in December, which is a fucking fixture I always talk about. It's because I had such a wonderful time. A 3-2 overtime win for the Vegas Golden Knights, where they did go up like 2-1 or 2-0, if I'm not mistaken. But they went ahead and won that game. And man, Dallas is a city I heap praises on all the time. If it wasn't for all the amenities and the benefits of living here in Las Vegas, mobility, cost of living, all this shit, I'd consider living in Dallas. Dallas is a fantastic place, and I know people shit on it all the time. It's a southern state. Why do you shut the fuck up, dude? Like, who gives a shit if it's a fucking southern state? For me, all I look at is the state income tax. Yeah, do you have state income tax? No, fantastic. Are you cool with weed? Okay, well, we can overlook that shit, but it's things like that I look into, not the fucking stereotypes. That's some fucking bullshit, dude. I mean, if you just base it on stereotypes, Denver's just a place full of fucking cowboys and snow, which kind of is. I'm not gonna lie about that, man. Which brings us to talk about Pepsi Center, and dude, Denver's another fucking beautiful city. If you've never been, I mean, elevation is a little bit of a difference there, but phenomenal place. Also, weed is legal there, which is awesome, and their price is fantastic. And Pepsi Center was one of those places that I went to for one Nuggets game and a Colorado Avalanche game, and that game happened to be against the Chicago Blackhawks, where Colorado took a pretty damn decent lead against a Blackhawks team at that point last season was just kind of shit, if we're being honest. But all the goal horn from Colorado was just getting you hyped up, because that's another fucking goal horn in the NHL that is one of my favorites. Just woo, hey, like that shit gets you fucking hyped. But I saw them lose to the Blackhawks in overtime, which was, oh my god, you could feel the palpable heartbreak when, and as an objective fan with no, partiality to either teams, you're just enjoying the moment of the hockey, but it's like, oh my god, you could feel the heartbreak. That's fucking insane. And man, this last 3 years of just watching hockey, I just realized how much I've grown to love the game, grown to appreciate the game, and more importantly, I've learned to really detach myself from the emotional aspects of hockey. And yeah, I mean, when I review, my Vegas Golden Knights videos, I'm gonna get rowdy, I'm gonna get pissed, I'm gonna get a little bit rambunctious when I talk about my team there. But in all honesty, I could still be pretty cool and neutral about it. And within that aspect, I started, picking up traits from, and massive shout out to a guy like the Hockey Guy, where he's one of those channels on YouTube that opened my eyes up to just watching the hockey and as a pure sport and enjoyment. And you get more appreciation beyond the team colors and the jerseys and all that. I mean, you just get to enjoy the hockey. And so because of that, I realized that I have a lot of favorite players. That's obviously not just the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, Vegas Golden Knights, they're my fucking team. They're my city, and I'm never gonna fucking ditch them. And it's the same fucking thing that goes for all my sports teams right now. I'm gonna be very honest. My Arsenal Football Club for soccer, Los Angeles Dodgers for baseball, Los Angeles Lakers for basketball, Seattle Seahawks for football, and the Vegas Golden Knights for hockey. I know, like right now, the trend is to be political, woke and really illiterate, but I can look beyond that because the sport itself is what's important, and that's what I gravitate towards. That's what I, take my fucking enjoyment, entertainment, and knowledge and all that shit from. So, with all that said, man, I mean, I got favorite players outside my team, and because there's no hockey tonight, and if there was, I mean, we'd be talking about fucking playoff scenarios. I mean, obviously, we would have had Game 3 between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Montreal, not the Montreal Canadiens, jeez, they're already out. The New York Islanders and the Vegas Golden Knights and Vancouver Canucks, and we could have been talking about that shit all day, and maybe a couple of playoff games in the NBA. But that's not the case tonight. So I wanted to go ahead and list 30 players that I like from all other 30 teams, and I'll mention one other name as an honorable mention for each team, and some of them there are very hard because I just don't really know the team, and I'm gonna be honest about it. And I tried my best, kids. I tried my best, and so without any further ado, we're gonna delve into some hockey shit, more hockey shit, really, kids, because we've just been talking hockey shit all goddamn day. But I'm gonna start from each division and just run through each team. And so within the Metropolitan Division, you have the Carolina Hurricanes, and my favorite player is Sebastian Aho. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I love the way he just fucking moves around with the puck. His passing skills is just sublime. And Carolina is one of those teams that has accrued a lot of talented young cats, and Sebastian Aho, I think, is the epicenter of that shit. I mean, look at last offseason where Mark Bergevin from Montreal tried to fucking lure this guy, with the RFA tender, and it's like, whoa, dude, relax. He's gonna be a franchise player. Don't be fucking around with that shit. But I like me some Sebastian Aho. But the honorable mention in this team has to go to Jacob Slavin. Bloody brilliant fucking defenseman. I mean, another time I have to use the word brilliant because he is. The way he just manipulates around the ice and just the way he moves around. Good shit. Good shit. And we go into the Columbus Blue Jackets, where my favorite player has to be Seth Jones. Beast, man. Oh, my little baby. He's tired. But Seth Jones is never tired. Man logged, 64 minutes in that fucking 5 overtime game against Tampa Bay Lightning? My God. You don't get better than that. You don't. And even before that epic 5 overtime game, Seth Jones has just been a rock steady defenseman throughout, the NHL. And definitely helps the Columbus Blue Jackets. And for me, Elvis Merzlikins is an honorable mention here because, Korpisalo is going to get all the love. Obviously, 85 saves. It's amazing what he did in that overtime game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But Elvis Merzlikins is one of the biggest catalysts for Columbus Blue Jackets being, in that relevant spot. When they were in the qualifiers, they somehow, and not somehow really, but I mean, through the efforts of everybody, they got through to round 1. Obviously got knocked out, but it's on the backs of Elvis Merzlikins in the regular season. And my puppy's walking away. Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people did walk away from Columbus Blue Jackets. Remember that shit? Matt Duchene, Ryan Dzingel, Sergei Bobrovsky. But look at the fucking Blue Jackets. Still competitive, still beasting. Yes, Tortorella has a lot to do with that shit. And so we move on to the next team, the New Jersey Devils, where for me it's Nico Hischier. An honorable mention goes to Mackenzie Blackwood. Fantastic goalie. Does not get any fucking support from his defense. And Nico Hischier, kind of like a dip year 2 or so, but hopefully they bounce back. I have a lot of hopes for the Devils. I don't know why. Just do. drafted like back-to-back number ones, you should do better. Do better. And a team that's been really doing better is the New York Islanders, and I have to say Matt Barzal is just a fucking beast. And honestly, within the honorable mentions, I don't watch them as much, but I would say Brock Nelson, just do all around kind of guy. So apologies, Islanders fans, but yeah, I don't really watch Islanders hockey, unfortunately. I'm going to move this camera here a bit, boys and girls, because this goddamn couch slides a little bit. I'm fat as shit, so I just slide here and there. But who don't slide is the New York Rangers. Well, technically, they've been sliding out of relevance, but hey, they got Alexis Lafreniere, technically, so that should help them out. But for me, favorite player in the Rangers has to be, I'm going to move this around here again, has to be a cat that technically did move around from Ottawa to the New York Rangers, and Mika Zibanejad. Just a beast-ass center, and also makes good goddamn music. And honorable mention has to go to Sidney, not Sidney, I'm already projecting with the fucking Pittsburgh Penguins, but honorable mention has to go to Henrik Lundqvist. The King deserved better. I know he has moments of failures too, but his team should have done better. And I hope he gets an opportunity somewhere, and I know he will. And hopefully he kicks ass. And so that takes us to the Philadelphia Flyers. And for me, it's Sean Couturier. I'm muttering my words here, but Philly, man. Fantastic team. Brilliant team. I mean, I think they can fucking... I've been saying this since the restart of the bubble that I think Philadelphia is going to win the Stanley Cup, but it's going to be on the backs of this honorable mention, Carter Hart. You know how good he can be, and I'm waiting to see the full potential of this team just realized, and it'll be entertaining. I'm not a fan of Gritty. I'm going to be honest about that. I don't like Gritty at all. He freaks me the fuck out. He is basically the crack addict. That probably lives in like the fucking sewers of fucking Philadelphia. Oh, God. That's a nightmare. That's a goddamn nightmare. But what isn't a nightmare is my picks from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney! Come on, dude! Sidney Crosby is my favorite fucking player outside the Vegas Golden Knights. Dude, Sidney Crosby is my favorite fucking player. I'm not gonna hide that shit. Yeah, I like USA Hockey. Yeah, I'm not, all for the, dominant dynasties and shit, but Sidney Crosby, sit the kid. Sidney Crosby, dude, Sidney Crosby. Sorry, I had to fanboy here, but Sidney Crosby. Honorable mention, Evgeny Malkin. Shout out to Evgeny Malkin, man. Gets overlooked a lot because you play in the same team. Obviously not same line, but same team as a bona fide Hall of Famer that's, had his fucking seat reserved in the Hall of Fame within the first 5 years of his career. It's Sidney Crosby, the GOAT. I know he's not Lemieux, he's not Gordie Howe, he's not Gretzky, and you could argue he's like Bobby Orr, but it's Sidney Crosby. It's Sidney fucking Crosby. GOAT. I know McDavid's the best right now, but Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby. You pick Sidney Crosby over everybody else, technically speaking. If you're talking pedigree and still overall skills, longevity, everything else, Sidney Crosby, the best. Right? And for me, I mean, right behind him, and this is where we talk about the Washington Capitals, Alexander Ovechkin. Holy shit, dude. 700 goals. This man has 700 goals. And technically, if he keeps playing at the rate he is, he could surpass, technically, Gretzky. Potentially. I think it could happen. I would be amazed if that happens in my lifetime. I would love to see it. And honorable mention goes to John Carlson, beast of a defenseman. Kudos to him. And yeah, I know. It always kind of hurts to talk about the Washington Capitals because of the Vegas Golden Knights, but honestly, that run was magical, and I treasure everything about it. And more shout-outs to the Washington Capitals for breaking their demons away and winning it finally. And so we talk about now the Atlantic Division, where the Boston Bruins, for me, my favorite player is Zdeno Chara. After that fucking Stanley Cup run against the St. Louis Blues last season where he broke his jaw, had that shit fucking taped down, still played all games in the final, Zdeno Chara became my fucking hero. That man is just a workhorse. and one of the top defensemen still in this league. And honorable mention for me, Brad Marchand. I will defend Brad Marchand all day, every day. I don't know why. I do. I just like Brad Marchand. And for the Buffalo Sabres, I dig Rasmus Dahlin. Solid defenseman. I think the kid can only get better from this point. And honorable mention, Jack Eichel. I used to really not be all too partial with Jack Eichel, but as he's progressed, as he's become that captain, more of a fiery, passionate captain, I can respect him. I could dig him more. And that takes us to the Detroit Red Wings, which honestly, this was a fucking hard decision because I don't barely fucking watch it, Detroit Red Wings. But Tyler Bertuzzi is actually a pretty sick hockey player. Honorable mention for me has to go to Jimmy Howard. Legacy dude, been around the league for a long time, been around the team and organization for a long time, but can't seem to win whenever he's in net. So if they can figure that shit out and you can send Jimmy Howard with a bang before retirement, that'd be pretty cool. Is he retired already? I have no fucking idea. But that brings us to the Florida Panthers, which another team that just kind of moves on into the realm of irrelevance. But for me, my favorite player has to be Aaron Ekblad. Sick dude, sick hockey player. Just hands, skates, brain, got it all. Sometimes you got to appreciate the brains. And honorable mention goes to Jonathan Huberdeau for the Florida Panthers, and that takes us into the Montreal Canadiens. Carey Price. Carey Price, I talk him up all the time. True gentleman, just an all-around good human being, and I wish him nothing but the best. And every time, Carey Price is on the ice and wins, I get elated. I'm happy. And honorable mention there for Montreal, Max Domi. I actually like his grit, like his furiosity too. He just has that fucking flair to get shit up. And that takes us to the Ottawa Senators, where for me it's Bobby Ryan. And honorable mention goes to Anthony Duclair. As of right now, still not a UFA. So hopefully he stays in that organization and helps out the Ottawa Senators in this rebuild. And yeah, Bobby Ryan, just a man, surpassing, his demons and being a great hockey player too. So shout out to Bobby Ryan. And moving on into the Central Division, we take on the Chicago Blackhawks, and my favorite player has to be Patrick Kane. Honorable mention goes to Corey Crawford, and that decision was actually very close between Jonathan Taves and Corey Crawford, but Corey Crawford wins because of the series against the Vegas Golden Knights. All 5 games, I thought Corey Crawford was in it. He was brilliant all throughout the fucking 5 games against the Vegas Golden Knights, and I hope he can maintain some form of consistency with a decent backup in the Chicago Blackhawks next season. So best of luck to them. And that takes us to the Colorado Avalanche, where for me it's Cale Makar, and the honorable mention is Nathan McKinnon. I know most people have that reversed, but Cale Makar's play is exquisite. He is just a sensational player to watch, and I look forward to how he progresses. And in the Dallas Stars, for me, it's Jamie Benn. Honorable mention Miro Heiskanen. 2 cats who have been elevating the Dallas Stars in this postseason, and honestly, watching them a couple times in the regular season live, they're great players. And that takes us to the Minnesota Wild, where for me it's Ryan Suter, honorable mention being Devin Dubnyk. Not a bad goaltender, just gets buried under just mediocre play from Minnesota overall, so that happens, kids. And I'm kind of speed rushing to this so I don't get fucking cut off from this goddamn YouTube bullshit. But when we move on to Nashville, for me, it's Roman Josi, and the honorable mention becoming Philip Forsberg. And then we talk about your still defending Stanley Cup champions, but knock the fuck out, in St. Louis Blues. And for me, it's Jordan Binnington. And the honorable mention, Alex Pietrangelo, who technically isn't going to be around in the team, but the service he's done for that squad and the amount of years he's put into the organization deserves a massive shout. And Jordan Binnington, yeah, I know people are going to say overrated, but I think he's going to have a bounce back year next year, and you will be surprised how good this dude is. But that's just me. And so within the Winnipeg Jets, for me, it's Blake Wheeler, an honorable mention being Patrick Laine. And I know I pick a lot of the honorable mentions as the star player, but yeah, sometimes the star players, I don't really give a shit about them. Sometimes I care more about the B player. I know it says a lot that, you don't know fourth liners. Yeah, I know. I'm a dumb dude. I barely scratch the surface if it's not my team. That's what happens. But in the Pacific Division, I have a more intimate knowledge of some of these fucking players because you see them minimum 4 times a year. And within the Anaheim Ducks, for me, John Gibson. I've talked up John Gibson, when I first watched him in Dallas Stars, but against the Dallas Stars in Dallas. And John Gibson is a phenomenal goaltender. Does not get enough praise. Maybe sometimes people think he gets too much, but I don't think he does enough. Honorable mention, Jakob Silfverberg. Great player. Pain in the ass for the Vegas Golden Knights, but there you go. And in the Arizona Coyotes, Oliver Ekman-Larsson causes headaches, again, as a Golden Knights fan. And honorable mention, Darcy Kemper, another cat who causes headaches. All these guys I'm going to mention right now, headache problems, because they're Pacific Division rivals. Calgary Flames, Matthew Tkachuk. Yes, I do dig Matthew Tkachuk. He's fucking awesome to watch. Mike Giordano as an honorable mention for me. And in the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, and honorable mention, Leon Draisaitl, but 200 combined points. You can't do shit in the fucking qualifiers. Wow. And the LA Kings, for me, it's Andre Kopitar, and the honorable mention being Cal Peterson. That dude owns Las Vegas. That kid owns Las Vegas. Look up the fucking record for Cal Peterson. Can't lie about that. And that takes us right into the San Jose Sharks, which this was really hard to do. But Mark-Edward Vlasic, I think, is a fucking great fucking defenseman. And I can't believe I have to say this in the honorable mention, but Logan Couture, dude's a beast. I hate to say it. I mean, he fucking buried us in multiple Game 7s. But yeah, I can respect Logan Couture. I can. I really can. And the Vancouver Canucks, who the Vegas Golden Knights are going in against in their series right now, Elias Peterson and Brock Besser as the honorable mention. And that takes us to the question of, well, who's your favorite player in the Vegas Golden Knights? William Karlsson. He's perfect. First Centurion in points in the Vegas organization. First ever player in the Vegas organization to score a hat trick. That was on December 31st, 2017 against the Toronto Maple Leafs when the Vegas Golden Knights won 6-3. Phenomenal fixture. I love that game. Watching Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Alex Nylander, I mean, even Patrick Marleau alive was brilliant. Freddie Anderson, underrated as hell. And if you asked me, what else about Karlsson? Dude, he had the fucking best highlight reel goal in our inaugural season. The behind the leg fucking shot on Martin Jones. And yeah, if you want to ask me honorable mention, I would say Nate Schmidt right next to him and Jonathan Marchessault and then Mark Stone. And from that point on, it's just kind of whatever. And hopefully that's not your fucking attitude in Game 3 when play resumes, hopefully on Saturday, because ultimately, kids, hockey is great, but oh boy, everyone's getting cucked. Everyone's getting cucked. And we're going to talk about that on the next episode of the Sky Lounge, because we're going to sum up some RNC shit, talk about what's going on in this world, and just get some fucking points across. And yeah, I fucking ran through that shit, and one of these days maybe I'll... No, that's only going to be in person. I'm never going to really fucking go rambling on. Maybe about basketball. If the time comes. All right, motherfuckers. I appreciate you dropping by this episode. Follow me at the Sky Lounge on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. And also check out the Sky Lounge on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And until next time, fuck off. And real quick, I got the puppies right here, just sleeping right next to me. So fuck off.